Brandon Bornancin, author of Whatever It Takes, founder of Seamless.ai, all the way from Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to the Sales Podcast, man. How the heck are you?
Wes, doing great, man. Happy Monday. Thanks for having me and thrilled to be here.
Databases are dead. Connect with your prospects instantly. So I'm going to have you demo this next week on the CRM Sushi podcast, but we're gonna get to know about you first. All right. I want this to be like Jerry Maguire, man. I'm gonna make you cry. All right. This interview will not end. It will not end until we see a tear, okay, coming down. And we're not going to edit that out. Okay. I want snot bubbles coming out.
Here we go.
This is how we're going, man. Show me the money. Show me the tears. All right.
I love it.
So what the heck, man? So Seamless is cool. I see your freaking ads everywhere. Good grief.
Thank you. I'll have to give a congrats to the marketing team. They're doing something.
So how did this get started, huh? Scale your sales with artificial intelligence. I mean, who are you, man? And why should we even listen to you?
Yeah, dude. Well, thanks again for having me. And, I'm a sales guy that needed to find everyone that I needed to sell to. Now, luckily, I was selling for IBM and Google, so I worked with a lot of really smart engineers. So after spending about $3 to $4 million on sales databases, selling for IBM and Google, I'd log into these expensive sales databases. They were missing 90% of the people I needed to sell to. When I would send emails or make calls, I'd get bounce backs, wrong phone numbers, you name it. And it just drove me insane to the point of like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to work with these engineers. We're going to build our own search engine like a Google to find every single person in the world that you need to sell to. And then we're going to use AI to research and validate all the direct dials, cell phones, and insights for these people. And used it as my secret weapon. We built it, went from 0 to $100 million in sales insanely fast, became a millionaire in sales. And that's when I realized like, hey, I want to help everyone in the world accomplish the same. So took all the money I made using Seamless as like my secret weapon. And then now we're helping roughly over 150,000 salespeople, marketers, and entrepreneurs globally. And we've got thousands of people in President's Club, which means that they've generated over $1 million in sales using Seamless. So that's our mission, help the world connect to opportunity and win President's Club, which means you've done over $1 million in sales with our software. Nice.
So you were using the tool in your day job?
Yeah. So I built it. I've been an entrepreneur before, made a lot of money, 18, 19, 20 years old, launching a gambling marketing software, which was awesome for party poker, poker stars, full tilt poker. That did like 12 million when I was super young. And then they made online gambling illegal in the US and launched a second company. And I lost $4 million building a text message marketing company. So like, I knew how to build technology and how to build failing or successful companies, a little bit of both. So once I quit entrepreneurship after my second company failed, was a salesperson for 7 or 8 years and just literally got so sick and tired of copying and pasting and manual list building of who I need to sell to and all the bullshit of getting stuff into your CRM. You're the CRM butler, the guru, the sushi genius here. A lot of all of that work is terrible. It sucks the lifeblood out of salespeople. And I was like, there's got to be a way to find everyone you need to sell to, research their contact information in real time in seconds, and then get it into your CRM. And built it for myself to automate all of that work so I could just be pitching and closing.
Right. So you make money, you're young. I mean, you lost $4 million. Was it your own money? Was it like friends and family?
The bad part about that, it was all of our own money. I mean, you never want to lose other people's money, but when you lose all of your own money, it's fucking terrible. It just beats you to death. And the tough part was all of the gambling money we made from this online gambling marketing software. We got to spend a lot of it, but then we parlayed it into this second company, and that second company failed because we didn't It was a text message marketing.
Right.
So this was flip phones, and we thought text messages for advertisers were going to be the future. And literally no one was investing in it. And our biggest failure was actually, again, kind of going back to Seamless, like we didn't have the list of the B2B people, B2B marketers we needed to sell to. My first company was in B2C. My second company was in B2B. I didn't know B2B lists. I didn't know B2B sales. And we just got crushed as a 21, 22, 23-year-old. And then we quit and sold for IBM and Google.
So who's we?
So good question. Half my partners went and sold for IBM. The other half just went off to do other stuff. So one of my partners, my VP of product, Jake, who's one of the co-founders of InMobile, when we shut it down, he went to IBM Interactive Resource at the time. And he's like, hey, we're selling IBM Watson. It's easy. Everyone knows IBM. You should join us. He was building the products and he's like, you should sell this thing. And I'm like, cool, I'm out of a job. I have no money. I'm broke. I'm poor. Let's do it. And joined him. And then we built this really big business unit selling IBM Watson, selling IBM Interactive to all these Fortune 100, 500 companies.
How did you ramp up in B2B sales? Because like you said, you were rusty on that area, but then IBM, especially IBM Watson, it's all B2B.
Yeah. So this is the book. This is Sales Secrets. So I know, this is my newest book, whatever it takes, but Sales Secrets, which I interviewed you on, Wes, a lot of my success was by being able to build a list and then studying all of the sales experts on their top secrets in all of these books and things. So I just started reading all the over 250 different sales books. And this was before there was an Amazon. So you got to buy this shit in a Barnes and Noble, Borders Books, if you remember what that is. I forget the other book places that shut down. Half Price Books was another one. But so I would go to these book places, and this is when the book places only had 5 to 10 books. They didn't have 1,000 sales books like now. So I would just buy all these books, read them, and then start executing the strategies. And then when a new one came out, just kept buying, reading, and then you do it with the blogs and everything else. And that's how I learned B2B sales, through trial and error and studying and then building the list.
I got to imagine though, IBM had a decent training platform curriculum.
They did not. It was terrible.
Oh, wow.
I mean, so different divisions, there's a lot of different divisions. If you're selling IBM hardware, the iframes and the servers and stuff, boom, you're good to go. But the IBM Interactive and Watson division was new. There was no training. It was literally just come in, you're part of a pitch team, and you got to figure it out. You got to generate a book of business, very little support. So it was like entrepreneurship, oh shit, I don't know what to do. We just got to figure it out. My chief revenue officer knew what they were doing, but they were busy in meetings 24/7. And then you were part of these, you would support a division, a business unit, a technology business unit, a retail business unit, a manufacturing business unit, where you would sell the IBM Interactive and Watson technologies and digital solutions. So you would have to drum up all the revenue. Once you had an opportunity, you would bring them into the deal, and then you would have to pitch and close it. And it was tough. It was awesome. We sold tens of millions of dollars, but it was they could have created a predictable, repeatable, scalable system. And I started to build that and left to sell for Google, because selling for Google is easier than selling for IBM.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's just repeatable, like AdWords. That's a lot easier than selling a multi-million-dollar artificial intelligence software that we create for you.
Right.
That's one's super custom, one is super vanilla, rinse, repeat, pitch, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
And the ROI of Google Ads is much easier to correlate to CFOs, CEOs, C-suite than selling like a new AI technology.
Yeah. So you get to Google. Is that when you started working on the foundation of Seamless?
Yeah. So when I was selling for IBM, I built a research team that was building my list for me. Because I couldn't figure out the technology to do it. And I was just killing my quota and overperforming. And then when I went and sold for Google, that's when I realized, okay, let's not use this list building team. Let's literally build this technology. And that's when I really understood search engines. I really understood how to build a search engine because I was working with all these smart engineers. And, the first step was build a search engine to find any title, any company in the world. Second step was use the AI like we used at IBM Watson to research, validate, and verify emails and cell phones. And then that automated it all. And that's when it was like, okay, shoo.
So who's this research team at IBM? Were they IBM employees? They're just doing it as part of
this
their
was
job?
like a team that I hired and employed myself. I just built
overseas people?
Yeah, I just
here in
built
the States?
an offshore research team of anyone that was available to do contact research. The problem with that is it's highly inaccurate. It doesn't scale. It's manual, and it relies on people. To where it was like, dude, let's automate this whole thing. So it went from a manual research to fully autonomous.
Right. So you build a search engine. It sounds kind of ironic. You're working at Google, and yet you're building your own search engine.
Yeah.
Were they just not focused on at that granular level yet, or why is
Well, they
that
were
different
building
than?
search for information, right? That was really, they didn't want to get into a sales search engine. So it's like, okay, I'll build my own sales search engine. And I'm like, this, the technology is so robust. It can, a search engine can be built for anything, and you just got to figure out what you want to find.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I want to find people with titles. I want to find contacts. I want to find emails. I want to find cell phones. I want to research all that stuff instantly in seconds. And then after creating prototype 1, you drive a bunch of sales, you improve it, create prototype 2, then you improve it, create prototype 3. I was doing this out of my own pocket, every commission. That was the cool part. It was the best way to fundraise for my company, because every deal that I would close, all the commission I would take and put into building my technology, building the Seamless platform. So then eventually, we sold over 9 figures in sales, over $100 million in sales in AdWords. And then it was like, okay, let's go all in on this thing. And it just started getting a bunch of different customers who were my colleagues, who were my peers, who were people in my industry. And that's when I was like, all right, let's go full-time on this jazz. And then we went full-time on building it for a year, and then fundraised after that. Used Seamless for everything. All of our customer acquisition was from our software. Fundraising was from the software, because you can find anyone's emails and direct dials. So we just used our software to find people to sell to, and then sold to them.
Very interesting. So you keep mentioning phones. Are you saying using the phone to sell B2B today still works?
Oh yeah, 100%. all the channels. Yeah, I mean, we book 200 to 400 appointments a day. From the phone, from email, from social. You got to leverage a multi-channel approach. But my sales team has a record of over 406 appointments in 24 hours. We're talking a lean 20, 30 person sales team at the time. Now it's gotten bigger, and they're setting even bigger records, but they're using, primarily the phone with email, with social, they use it all. I think the best salespeople know how to use the phone. While they're using the phone, they're using email. While they're using email, they're using social. Like, I've got 7 monitors here. I've got different sales campaigns running at all the time. Shit, I'm dialing right now while we're on the podcast, Wes.
You better stop that. I need all of your attention.
I'm in the matrix. So, yeah, the phone works.
Yeah, that's awesome. How's it working today? Like with COVID? I mean, there's, like direct mail. I sent something to a lead, and like 2 weeks later, almost 3 weeks later, say, "Hey, I got your book," because she only goes to the office like once every two weeks, maybe twice a month. And calls, maybe they're not being routed as.
Yeah, well, that's a problem with the company directories and these old outdated sales databases. Like, we find cell phones, we find direct dials, we find direct emails for people. So that's how we're able to book so many appointments. We've got 1,000 people that have generated over $1 million in sales with the product. Like, you have to, in COVID world, you call a corporate directory, you're done. Like, I don't even think I don't have no one's even working our corporate line right now. It's like I don't even know what's going on with that line. That's how much we pay attention to that. Yep. Everyone's remote. You have to find their direct dials and insights and get to people one-to-one direct.
They don't mind you calling their cell phone?
No. I mean, this is the new age. Yeah. Call their cell phone, call their mobile, call their direct dial. If you've got a product that is a mindset, this is part of one of the habits of whatever it takes, Wes. My new #1 bestseller on Amazon, like, you just got to do whatever it takes, right? If you've got a product that will fundamentally change the life of your customer for the better, you've got a duty to reach out to them wherever they're at.
Yeah, but I'm more into branding and consultative selling and relationship building. I mean, I don't know. This seems very aggressive and just transactional to me. I'm not sure I think I should stop listening to this podcast.
Yeah, great question. Great role play, right? Now you could sell, like, I've sold multi-million dollar deals over the phone or via Zoom, never meeting in person. Hell, like, we're fundraising a $50 to $100 million deal, and we've been working the deal for 6 to 9 months, 0 in-person meetings. Like, an investor is going to write a $50 to $100 million check. Now, the last requirement of that deal is they have to meet us in person to make sure we're not crazy. But you have to, like, people are doing deals. You could do high ticket, low ticket, high consultative, high transaction, you name it, over the phone, over social, over email, over Zoom. It's happening all the time. Consultative just means, like, you're prospecting, pitching a solution that transforms their life. Like, what is the core? What does that even mean, right? If we break down consultative selling, like, that means you're here, point A, you want to get to point B. I'm going to figure out what is stopping you from point A to point B, and we will get you from that point to your destination as fast, as cheap, as cost effective, as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, I tell people, because they're like, "Oh, how's COVID? Like, how's it affecting your business?" I'm like, we've homeschooled for 13 years, and I've worked from home for 21 now. I work for myself from home.
You homeschool your kids?
Yeah.
I think that's genius. What made you decide to shift to do that?
Hey, this is my interview, man. Who's asking the questions here? One of your 7 monitors like tell you to do this? Dude, we pondered it for a while. We didn't even. So our 2 oldest were not homeschooled because my wife, she had to be on board because she's the one doing it,
Yeah.
And so finally, we've done it like 13 years now, and my oldest daughter just turned 21. So what's that math? She was around 4th grade, maybe 5th, somewhere in there when we started, and we homeschooled her all the way through high school. Then my next two daughters, we homeschooled all the way through 8th grade. And then they decided to go to the high school that their brothers went to. And we got two more still being homeschooled. So yeah, we don't like the crap going on in schools, you know?
Yeah.
There's not a big selection of private schools here. When we moved in 04, there was
I think
one
it
Catholic
it
school.
could dramatically slow down your progress.
Yeah. And it's been fantastic. So the two girls, you know, they had to come back home, right, because of COVID, and it was just like being homeschooled again. So they just rolled with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fantastic. Like even now, right, we're leaving for the mountains. My wife's going up today. I'm going up tomorrow, and you know, just the kids can still do class.
Yeah,
Right?
you have 100% freedom.
Oh
Like,
yeah, dude. We go to the beach. We go and we can go off peak, right? So we have places to ourselves.
yeah,
know?
that's epic. That's true freedom.
It's just
Be able
awesome.
to do
Oh.
and anything you want, whenever you want, wherever.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
So much better. But you know, me working from home and you know, all these years I've sold hundreds and hundreds of customers on Infusionsoft, HubSpot, Ontraport. And man, I've probably met 5% of my customers ever.
Ontraport is pretty badass too.
They've done some good stuff. You know, I've had Landon on a couple of times, and when they came out with their 5.0 a couple of years ago now, that changed for just like Infusionsoft. When Infusionsoft came out with their campaign builder around 2011, 11 or 12, somewhere in there, that saved them. If they didn't have the campaign builder, I think they wouldn't have made it through the tough times. It's just so easy to use. And then Ontraport was hard to use. And they came out with kind of a campaign builder. It looks like everybody else's, honestly. It looks like Active Campaign. It looks like HubSpot. But they're good. They're good. And I mean, there's only so many GUIs you can create, right? You got to,
right.
You know, only so many ways you can invent that thing. But yeah, that was a big change for them. And, you know.
Yeah, but you were saying you sell hundreds of customers and you've done it all remote.
All remote. I mean, I was using WebEx and Skype and whatever back in the day, but people didn't care, you know, as long as I can meet their needs and solve a problem and take away a pain, they send me their money.
100%.
You know?
It's awesome.
Piece of cake. And I see too many people though, especially smaller entrepreneurs talking about branding, right? And I'm like, you got to sell something. When you're new, you got to sell.
Yep.
Right. And you build your brand over time by delivering the goods. Right.
Yep. 100%.
That's how you've made it, you know, deliver the goods.
Build and sell the products.
So you're peeling back, throwing your own commissions, your own money back into this new platform. Mm-hmm. Did you have a vision for it, or were you just solving an immediate pain and just see what tomorrow brings?
No, it's funny that the platform that you see today was always the vision of the product. Like nothing strayed from the idea that we like believed in, but it was very difficult to build, took years to build because the technology is so complex. It's easy to have people manually research something. It's very difficult to build a search engine and use AI to do it all automatically. So it just took years to build, you know, almost died 90 times trying to build it, trying to sell it. Because before it was built, you're trying to sell something that doesn't exist. So that was tough.
So how does that work? I mean, the product you have now was basically started when you were at Google, right?
Yeah.
So you're using it for yourself, right?
Yep.
So who's like the first paying customer? Is it a friend that agrees to pay, you know, buy you dinner for a month? You know, is it a true cold call, true customer that like signs up for a beta and pays a little something?
Yeah, it was these top search marketing agencies. So I sold Google AdWords. These agencies were seeing how successful I was. So they would ask me how I was driving so much new business. Then I would tell them it was because of my software. Then they would buy the software from me. So it was like my customers, people in my industry would then try to learn what I was using to drive the new business. And
Did
then
you
they
have to
jumped
keep that
on.
secret from Google?
What's up?
Did you have to keep that secret, like on the down low?
No, I was very public about it. Like, hey, this is being worked on not during work hours. This is being built not during, work hours, all that jazz. And had no issue. And then they became a customer, and, that helped, just validate the power of it.
Right.
And try to get the Google search agency to invest in it, try to get a bunch of different people to invest in it. Now, luckily, Sergey Brin and his wife, Nicole, founders of Google, they invested in Seamless.
Nice.
But it wasn't till years later.
Right.
So after I went full time, years later, they then invested.
That's cool.
Which is pretty awesome.
How do you decide when to get outside investors versus, staying organic and bootstrapped?
Scale. Like from 0 to 20,000 in MRR, 0 to 10,000 in MRR is pre-seed capital. That's when you should work with the accelerators. Like accelerators will invest 50 to 250K to help you figure out your idea, get product market fit, 100 customers or less. And then once you're at 10K in MRR, I would say 10K to 100K in MRR, you go for the seed round. That's like anywhere from $1 to $5 million. And then after that, depending on where you go, you could get the Series A and above. But I always recommend go pre-seed, accelerator, then go seed, and do it based on the number of customers that you acquire.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be obsessed with building the list, selling to the list, and acquiring customers. A lot of entrepreneurs now, they have no customers and they fundraise a shitload of money with no product market fit. Like, you haven't sold anything. You got to build the product and you got to sell the product.
Right.
Make sure people want what you have.
Yeah. Because I know like ontraport may still be bootstrapped. Active Campaign was for a long time. I think just last year they went and got some outside money. Mm-hmm. Is it a pride thing? Is it just you don't want to give up ownership? Like why do some decide to bootstrap it versus take outside money? Because if you don't do it right, you could lose your own company, can't you? In raising money.
Yeah, I think it's different confidence levels. When you're confident, you fundraise. Like when you've got product market fit, when you've got a lot of customers, when you've got growth, that's when you fundraise to fast track the growth, fast track the product features, fast track customer success, service. Like, you got to have product market fit though. And that can be defined anything from, 10 customers to thousands of customers. Like, if you're confident in your KPIs, your MRR, your ARR, your cost to acquire customer, your cost per acquisition, your average revenue per user, your MRR growth rate, your profit and loss statements, like, then you should fundraise. Mm-hmm. And if you know that you've got this like flywheel, that's when you go and you double down on it.
Yeah. So your people, and they're banging out these calls, like, are you very prescriptive? Do you have your sales team and say, look, here's what you do, right? Run the software, reach out this way, say these things at this time, or do you give them a lot? Do you give them a wide berth?
We are very prescriptive, but we believe like I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. So I believe all of our salespeople are are quarterbacks, and they're like Tom Brady. So like we'll provide scripts, strategies, plays, right? I call all of these things plays that the quarterback can run and use to win the game. So we have a set of specific plays that they should run, but we let them customize it as needed to win the game. So like if, I'm not interested, no budget, it's too expensive, already working with someone, send me more info, you name it. We've got hundreds of ways to overcome all of these. But they can change them for themselves. They can customize them, you name it. That way, when they come into the game, never played before, they've got everything they need to win the Super Bowl. And they've got the freedom to change and adapt and customize based on the prospect, the situation, their personality, their confidence, their knowledge, the sales discovery, you name it. So I think all of these things are plays. They should use the plays to win the game, but they can also go off the cuff as needed.
Yeah, I tell people, do it my way at first until you master it. 100%. Otherwise, they'll use it as an excuse. Oh, didn't really quite work. I'm gonna go. It doesn't feel right. Like, I don't give a crap how it feels.
Yep.
Everything feels weird. Like, you go to see your golf pro, right? He tweaks your grip. It feels weird because it's new, right? Yep. But your other grip wasn't working. That's why you pay the guy money to go teach you some lessons. All right. It's like, do it my way. Do it. Go play for a month, go to the range, go play, with your weekend group 4 or 5 times under pressure, then come back and tell me if it's not working. Don't change it up first swing just because it feels weird, right? It's like, you don't know enough yet to modify my plays, so what's that
100%.
going to, yeah. Okay.
I think until you're hitting quota, you're not allowed to change really anything.
Right.
Like first 90 days, we've got hundreds of experts now. Like you've got hundreds of people that have tried everything, who have mastered it. And now we're teaching you the best ways to win the game and to maximize the success of your customers and to over deliver for them and get them on the world's best sales platform. Like the people that fail are the people that try to invent their own way. Yeah. First 90 days, when you go into inventing versus blocking and tackling and just like doing what we tell you to do, the people that just do what we tell them to do and try to do it the best that they can always are in the top 1%. They're in the top 1% of our performers. We had people go from intern to SDR to AE to AE director to team lead in less than a year because that college kid was a football player who just learned to just, hey, coach, tell me what to do. I'm going to do it the best in the world and I'll keep practicing. And he just like Ryan Feely, this guy went from intern, SDR team lead, AE team lead, to now managing 20 people. He's like 23. Mm-hmm. I don't care about your age, your experience. Like if you could come in, you could master what we tell you and you could crush it. And then you could tackle these new challenges that we throw at you. It's a meritocracy. We've built a very exciting meritocracy here where anyone can achieve anything.
So before COVID, did you have an office or have they always been remote?
Yeah, we had an office. It was, we had 2 offices, one in Columbus, Ohio, one in Newark, New Jersey, because Amazon and D&B invested in us. So we had an office in the Amazon building and we had an office in downtown Columbus. And I shut down our main office in March when the governor shut down the state of Ohio. I just killed it right away. And then, 6 months ago, we provide 100% optionality. So like, if you want to go into our office, you can. If you want to work from home, you can. It's 100% optionality. Do whatever works for you. And we've been super successful operating at 100% optionality.
That you implemented that after COVID.
After COVID, yeah. So we ended up not getting a really big office again. We just use this co-working space and pretty much let anyone work out of there anytime they want. Negotiated a deal with them where we pay per head. So like every time you show up, it costs us money. And it's like pay per use. Negotiated that deal. And now
talking about there locally or in the cities where your people live?
I believe only here locally.
Uh-huh.
But ideally, we should negotiate that nationally.
Yeah.
Because that'd be
awesome.
I mean,
a friend of mine has a co-working space. She's got 2 offices. She always wants me to come in. I'm like, I'm set at home. I'd love to support her, but it's like just driving 15 minutes there and back. To me, it's like a waste 30
waste
minutes.
of time.
You know,
I get too much done.
Yeah.
I'm up at 4:30, 5 a.m. working for an hour or two. Then I'll go work out downstairs. Got this massive gym I love. When COVID hit, I used to go to the Lifetime Fitness and then they shut that down. And I'm like, fuck, this is the perfect reason to build your own killer home gym.
Yeah.
Problem was I needed to move to get the space to get the killer gym. So we did that. And then the gym.
I hope you didn't get your wife a Peloton because then she'd get mad at you and divorce you because that's like, I guess, a sexist thing.
I did not get her Peloton. She's building a meditation Pilates studio. She's big into yoga and Pilates.
Nice.
I don't know anything about either. But yeah, she loves it.
I know they're both harder than they look.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time I try it, after about 5 minutes, I'm like, I can't focus or concentrate on this. I gotta go.
Oh, it's all hard, man.
That was the deal though. It was, hey, if you want your golf simulator, then I got to get the yoga studio. I'm like, done deal. Easy.
Easy peasy. Very cool. All right, man. So you got some books. We're going to link to that and everything. It's just off your website, right? Seamless.ai.
Yeah. So go to Seamless.ai. You can join my newsletter. I do daily sales secrets, strategies, tips, playbooks to help you make more money today. You also, when you join Seamless for free, you get hundreds of leads where you get emails, cell phones, direct dials for anyone in the world at Seamless.ai. And then, we've got 3 books, #1 bestsellers. Whatever It Takes is my newest book. All the habits to transform your business relationships in life. So March, when I had to shut down my office, when the governor shut down the state of Ohio, I wrote this book in 22 days. So instead of going to Lifetime Fitness from 5 to 7 a.m., I wrote 10, 20 pages a day on all of the habits that I wanted anyone I knew to master, to get through COVID, to maximize their success, to survive and thrive during this crazy time. And it's been awesome. Like I was kind of forced to knock that one out sooner than I thought. But all of the habits that I've built and learned from being a serial entrepreneur or salesperson, going from 0 to $100 million in sales to 8-figure companies, losing everything, losing tons of tragedy, tons of success, and getting through it all to try to make something out of this crazy world. All of the habits are in that book. Jeff Blunt calls it the most inspiring business book of the year. So pick it up on Amazon. I don't know about you, Wes. You self-publish everything. I won't let a publisher touch any of my stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm just too, I don't know, renegade. I don't know. You can write a book, right? And they tell you everything. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, 18 months, 2 years from now, we'll publish it. And I don't know. I'll probably do one. It does give you a little different credibility, but it's like every day that goes by, I think it gives you less credibility. It's less impactful, to have a publisher versus doing on your own. So I don't know.
100%. Well, the thing that why I did it self-published with the team, it's like, if this book can fundamentally change someone's life and you tell me it's got to wait 2 years, that goes against everything. Why we write books to help change people's lives.
Yeah.
And then lastly, you can pick up Sales Secrets and 7-Figure Social Selling. They're right here on Amazon as well. Wes was in Sales Secrets. He shared his sales secret. which is awesome. Check it out. Pick it up. Over 100 experts interviewed. Shit, 600 pages, 1,000 secrets. People like Wes and everyone in the book was just.
Well, and you said just that download that one chapter of mine, like broke all your servers, right? You had to get like a whole new data center,
100%. It destroyed
redundant
the company.
power. I mean, it was
I had
just
to rebuild it.
it's like it was like riots. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, but I told you it's going to be good. But
Yeah.
Okay.
You gave me the warning.
Very nice. All right. Well, and so why the name Seamless? Why? Give me the lowdown on that. And
So
why
Seamless,
AI? I guess artificial intelligence makes sense, but
it's always difficult to connect with people. It's like everything's a pain in the ass, right? And it's just got to be like instant, right? Like searching on Google is easy. It's quick. It's instant. I'm like, dude, it's got to just be seamless. The ability to find someone that you want to connect with and instantly connect with them. Like no bullshit. Doesn't matter where you're from, your background, your net worth. Like you can find and connect with anyone in the world instantly by getting their emails and phone numbers. So Seamless just was the perfect branding for it. The only tricky part was Seamless, the food company, owned Seamless.com. So I tried to buy it from them and they're like, that's our whole company name. That's not going to happen. So I'm like, okay, fine. We're Seamless.ai. Thank you so much.
Well, and AI makes sense too. But what is AI, like Antigua or something, or what?
Yeah. It's Anguilles.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a Caribbean country. I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone. I don't even know where that's at.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, but because AI is a part of it, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, Brandon, stay warm, my brother. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much, Wes, for having me. Audience, we would love to connect with you on Seamless, and feel free to follow me, connect on LinkedIn. Would love to stay in touch.
All right, man. Have a great day.
You too.
Bam. Where's that?